Auburn Blitz is now on the air. Your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the latest edition of the Auburn Blitz. Brett Pritchard and Randy Lee here with you for your lunch hour. If you're in a boat, that's probably the vehicle of choice today. I have never, man. It is just, we went 3 months and didn't have a lick of rain, and now it rains every day. But anyway, hope all of you out there safe. If you're driving around listening to us on 105.1 FM, make sure you're really, really safe out there. But again, thanks to Russell Do-It Center Building Supply Stores and Mortgage Pro, the Eric McKinley team, for being our corporate partners here on the Auburn Blitz. A ton to get to today, so we're just going to dive right in. Obviously, last night LSU caps off a perfect 15-0 season with a convincing win over Clemson. Clemson with a convincing win last year over Alabama, and this year the favor is returned by way of Joe Burrow and Ed Orgeron last night. We'll talk a lot about that game. We'll take your comments on that game. Auburn has a new offensive line coach. Auburn takes to the floor tomorrow in basketball against Alabama at Coleman Coliseum. Some word on the street with some high school stuff that we were talking about earlier, Randy, that Bo Nix's father, Patrick Nix, to be named as the new head football coach at Central Phoenix City after Jamie Dubose steps down to take another job somewhere else. I mean, just news all over the map right now.
Well, if there was ever any worry, if you're a Phoenix City fan, which, by the way, they got over the hump and won a state championship last year for the first time since 1993. If there was ever any worry of whether you were going to take a step back after Jamie Dubose left, don't worry at all. With Pat Nix coming over, bringing his son, who will be a junior this year, and all of the talent that Phoenix City, and just a rabid fan base and a great youth programs all the way up and down just about every sport over in Phoenix City. I think Pat Nix is going to love it there. I think he can.
Kool-Aid go with him?
Of course, that's a very good question. And if he does, I think that here's a big story. I always get into now, why do kids decide to come out early and go ahead and enroll, and why would you not? Mm-hmm. The only reason I personally would not if I was a senior is if I played basketball or baseball and I'd grown up with these guys and I'm playing for a championship and it's very important to me, and I'm going to a reason here. Pinson Valley won the basketball state championship last year.
They did.
And Cam Woods, that you and I talked about at length on Saturday, is a senior this year. So he's done. Coach Barber, I'm sure, has got a great program over there, and it's not going to stop. He's not going to stop winning just because.
You take those kind of players away.
So I don't know if McKinstry decides that, look, I'm going to enroll early anyway. I could be off with this, but my understanding is that either he lives with the Nix family or is very close to the Nix family. And he's one of the top prospects, not only in football but basketball, in the entire country. Big-time five-star recruit. Next year's class in the high school ranks here in the state of Alabama is unbelievable.
Sick.
So it's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, he and Lee Hunter and, I mean, a lot of top prospects, favoring Auburn right now. And, Clemson's been hot and heavy on McKinstry here in the last 3 or 4 months, and everybody wants him, so I don't know where he ends up. I thought he had to decide today he would probably go to Auburn, but a lot of water will roll under the bridge between now and then. Let's jump into this national championship game last night, because LSU just did what they've done all year, saved the Auburn game. And look, Auburn still lost, and I get it, but it just makes what Auburn did in Baton Rouge that much more impressive on the defensive side of the ball. This is 3 times now since the Auburn game that you've heard commentators bring up Kevin Steele's name and the type of defense he ran against LSU that day. And Georgia's tried it. Clemson tried it last night. You got to have the players to do it. But even with the players, Joe Burrow he's hard to stop, man. You look up and he scored 5 touchdowns. This guy's a touchdown machine. It's the single best season in college football history to me by any team. And look, he was compared to only one other player last night by Reese Davis, and that was Cam Newton. He said only one other guy I can think of in modern history had a year like Joe Burrow had this year, and it was Cam Newton. And Cam Newton finished a perfect season. He won the Heisman Trophy, and they won the national championship. Well, that's what Joe Burrow and them did last night. And I know Gene Chizik got Coach of the Year that year and all that, but they won. So I think they clean swept the individual awards that they were up against. There's just no other season outside of 2 ball games, Alabama and Auburn. They didn't have a close one, Randy. They just ran through everybody on the schedule.
And, I thought Clemson played really well offensively there in that first half.
They did.
And they looked the part. I mean, you never felt like in the first half they were out of it. There were points in time in the first half where I'm going, man, Dabo and Clemson can just get it done. I don't know what it is, but they look fast.
I was about to tell you, I was about to text you last night and say, LSU's in trouble. They were down 10. And Clemson was moving the football, and I'm like, man, they're not afraid of LSU, and they don't care that it's 90% LSU fans in this building.
Issue with Clemson, though, to close out the second half, just wayward passes, open receivers, but wayward passes. Couldn't really defend all night. Number one for LSU, just put on a show. Oh. And if you take him off the field there in that first half, in which Joe Burrow was throwing dimes the whole time too, but you take him off the field in the first half, then Clemson probably expands that lead to maybe 3 scores.
Yeah.
And if they do that, you never know. But that's neither here nor there. Here's what I do know. LSU nailed the ball on the 1-yard line. They could have won the football game by 25 points. Clemson played pretty good football, in my opinion, to only lose by 25 points.
That's right.
That tells you how good this LSU team is. There's only one team in my lifetime that I go, they're just no competition. That's Nebraska in 95. But what they did to Florida that year was second to none. Is there any that any of you can think of that compare to this? I know we've talked about that Miami team and all of the NFL talent that they threw out there. But I don't remember watching that squad and going, man, they are just annihilating everyone that they come up against. I think even that year they had some struggles with maybe Florida or Florida State during that year. And but this LSU squad outside of Auburn had no close football games other than Tua putting on a show against them defensively.
That's right. And Alabama scored one right there at the end.
Yeah.
They kind of brought that down. I mean, they get credit for it. Obviously, they cut it to a 5-point game, but and made it interesting because they were lined up for an onside kick. But the bottom line is Clemson got a great start in the second half. They held LSU to a 3-and-out. They get the ball. They go down, score a touchdown. You thought, man, well, they're here. They're here to stay. It's going to be a bare-knuckle brawl, and it just wasn't. Burrow, once he got comfortable, once Joe Brady and Steve Ensminger figured out that defense for Clemson, they just didn't have an answer for it. Look, Jason Caldwell and I were going back and forth on Twitter last night, and he goes, if you don't blitz every play, it's a mistake. And I said, well, right when he said that, LSU hit them with that screen, and I said, well, that's what happens when you blitz all the time. And Jason was back at me going, well, if you sit back, you dang sure going to get beat.
Did you hear the stat last night when you didn't blitz Joe Burrow in this playoff run, what his completion percentage was?
I didn't hear it. But
over 90.
Well, so
that
Jason's great point there.
If you did not get pressure in his face and get someone back there, his completion percentage on 3-man fronts, 3 defensive linemen trying to put pressure. He's just going to sit back there and move around and
he's
pick you
athletic
apart.
He run the football, which is the added value that a lot of people don't give him credit for. But my argument back to Jason was, I said, I don't think it really matters what you do.
No, I agree.
You drop back in coverage, he's going to pick you apart. If you blitz, they're going to drop screens on you. They're going to anticipate where the pressure's coming. The guy's just cool under pressure. They're just not many guys that come around like Joe Burrow that just handles any situation.
Only one season, again, in my lifetime, too. Now, I can throw Tim Tebow out there. And that Tim Tebow season and what he did with his legs that season, too, Brett, which Joe Burrow can do. Joe Burrow can do some damage with his legs, but that's not what he makes himself with. But here's the only other season that I would throw out there, and he happened to be on that stage as one of the top 11 college football players of all time, and we can have a whole segment on that. I mean, my gosh, I don't even know what I saw, but never mind. Barry Sanders last year, that guy, now they didn't win a championship, but he averaged about 300 yards a game rushing.
He did.
And it didn't matter if you could just point and say, good luck, stop this. You know, no Herschel year or no Bo year put on a performance like Barry Sanders did that year, where he rushed for, 2,800 yards in a single season, where he didn't have a lot of Joes and Bo's around him.
He was at Oklahoma State.
I think Gundy was his quarterback.
Back when it wasn't popular to be at
back when
Oklahoma
Gundy
State.
did not, he may have had a mullet.
He may have had a mullet back in. I don't know. Some comments. I guess I got some play on Twitter last night. Patrick said, Barrett Salee, what do you think, Brett Pritchard? I mean, the guy comes up and makes just a bogus comment, and it just, you know, sometimes you have to watch what you put on Twitter, because you got to eat your words when you go back. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Alabama game wasn't that close, according to Patrick. I mean, LSU did kind of control that. Alabama got back in the game, but LSU really expanded that thing out to 3 scores. It never was that way in the Auburn game. It was 10-10 at halftime. Auburn missed a shot right there before half with a pass down the sideline. Auburn missed some opportunities in that game.
Most impressive part of that Alabama-LSU game's Tua to me. The poor guy could not walk off the field after the game.
Yeah,
he
gave it his all.
He put up massive numbers, kept his team in it, moved the football.
If he hadn't to play.
But I think they could have scored. They shut it down in the third.
Yeah.
If they would have kept full throttle, they could have scored 65, 70 points on Alabama that night. They really could. And so, no, there wasn't a lot of close games for this team.
Absolutely. Up against our first break. Stay tuned. More of the Auburn Blitz coming your way right after this.
Start the new year off with something new during the Start Something New sales event at Bice Motors. Lease a 2019 Dodge Challenger SXT for $319 a month with 0 down. 2020 Ram Bighorn Crew Cab for $349 a month. 2020 Jeep Gladiator for $329 a month. And to honor our first responders, get an additional $500 rebate.
Come see us in Alex City.
Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
Hillby Towers is an affordable senior citizen community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East, where spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living, where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more about Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552, for your family at Hillby Towers. That's 256-329-0552.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
Alex City Marines located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, and the Yerkes invite you by to see what they have available today. The 2020 Manitous and Landaus are in, and boy are they gorgeous. Also some great deals on demos. Take advantage of that while they last. Alex City Marine also is doing shrink wrapping, storage. Get in line now. In fact, call this number, 256-215-FISH. Alex City Marine, Alex City.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
From the smallest drippy faucet to drain cleaning to water heater replacement to gas lines to total systems replacement, A&M Plumbing handles it all. Visit amplumbing.net today for the experienced, licensed, and insured pros at A&M Plumbing.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
The Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales in Opelika has the largest selection of prestige cars, trucks, and SUVs in Central and East Alabama, all with financing available, little to no money down, and extended warranties. Get pre-qualified in under 2 minutes, online or from your mobile device at GillsPrestigeOnline.com. It's the Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz as it becomes a monsoon outside. I hope you have your parka out there. It's wet, man. I'm telling you, rough out there. Go back to some of these comments. Patrick was asking me about my Barrett Salee back and forth last night. Barrett Salee comes out and said, sorry, Auburn, this Clemson defense is going to be LSU's toughest test. Brent Venables is the Greg Maddux of college football who paints the strike zone like an artist. I just simply replied, I said, Barrett, would you like to update your status as Burrow throws his 5th touchdown pass and breaks the record against the shutdown D of Clemson? I mean, and so to credit, I think a lot of people felt like Clemson might have the toughest test, but it's hard to emulate what Auburn had up front. Even Clemson, I didn't have what Auburn had up front. And Auburn was getting, look, I'm not bringing up sour grapes. Just go watch the film. Auburn got held beyond terms that I can even say on this program. And they kind of let them play and get away with it, and the referees kind of did that. If they had not let them hold the way they did, I'm not sure LSU wins the ball game. Now, Auburn didn't score when they had opportunities. It was more of the same. I also made a tweet last night. Would somebody let Coach Malzahn know you can throw a slant every once in a while? The middle of the field's accessible. I mean, and I thought Moss had a pretty good game. I thought Burrow threw the tight end pretty well. You can throw to them, too. They don't just have to block. So there's some things that you can see that if Auburn would implement in their offense, man, it'd make them so much more versatile. We're just the same. We're the same offense we've been the last 4 years.
Well, I'm not going to run down that old dirty path because we've got plenty of time in the offseason to run straight down it and hope and pray that Chad Morris can bring some kind of semblance of difference when it comes to the passing game from what we've seen. I will say this about Auburn's defense. It really makes you wonder what happened to end the season. When you look at that Alabama game and you go back and you look at what happened in the bowl game where Minnesota did whatever they want to at will. They handled the line of scrimmage.
And that should have never happened.
And that's the part of Auburn football at this point in time that makes people so frustrated. It is night and day. We can play unbelievably well defensively against one of the best offenses in college football history, and then come back out and play Minnesota, whose average ranking on the recruiting trail has been about 58 over the last 4 years, and they can slap us in the face.
And look, I'm not using any excuses. And the last 2 games that Auburn played on defense were not very good.
No,
Alabama went up and down the field. We hit 2 pick sixes, which ends up being the difference in the game. So I do give the defense some credit. They did make some plays out there and made some big plays that won the ball game against Alabama. But against Minnesota, they just looked like they were going through the motions. It didn't look – I mean, I know we talked about it like it wasn't anything about the effort and all that. I semi-disagree. I again see a team that was totally disinterested. Marlon Davidson didn't want to be out there in the first half. Now, he may have turned it up a notch in the second half, but that guy didn't go from doing what he did all year against Georgia and against Alabama and against Florida and against all that to just, I'm just going to kind of jog up the field. I'm not giving the pass. Minnesota gets all the credit. I'm not making an excuse. But this is 2 times in the last 3 years where you played an opponent that had their hair on fire and were excited about being in a bowl game, Central Florida and Minnesota, and you were kind of, well, you know, when we played average 6-6 Purdue, we blew their brains out. You know, we kind of just went up and down the field at will and scored every time we had the ball, but we found out Purdue just wasn't very good, and then they kind of put an exclamation mark on it this year with their record. The 2 teams in the last 3 years we played, it's been pretty good. Man, we ain't put no energy out there. The play calling looks like it's just kind of average to below average. The defense kind of goes through the motions a little bit. It's something about the preparation, and Gus Malzahn wanted to make a big point about how this was a business trip, and they weren't going to let that happen again, and to me it was the imps of 2017.
Which is part of what I was sitting there watching last night. And what is so impressive with Clemson, they lost last night, but they're there every year. And when they match up in playoff runs, you can knock the ACC all that you want. When they get out there on the field, they look like they belong. They look like, as far as speed, they belong. The quarterback play belongs. It continues to belong.
Clemson's had their doors blown off the last couple times, though, in the playoffs.
But, well, not 2 years
Well,
ago.
Alabama blew them out in the Sugar Bowl.
Well, 2 years ago they beat Alabama.
I know they flipped the script, and they've had their wins, but when they've gotten beat, they've gotten hammered.
But they look the part. They don't look like Notre Dame. They don't look like an ACC team that you say just doesn't match up with the top tier of the SEC. They look the part, and I think that this
they
year,
belong in the SEC.
If anything, this year was maybe a little bit of a surprise for them. I think that they think they're going to be better next year. Got the quarterback back. Got a lot of their skilled guys back, all those receivers back. They've finally gotten a top 3 recruiting class, one of the top recruiting classes in the country to come in and fill some gaps. It's the worrisome part about being an Auburn fan at this point in football is I'm not disappointed. I'm not disgusted with the product that we put out, but I'm just ho-hum about it.
Well, the final poll came out, obviously, right after the game. Auburn finished 14th. Oregon finished in the top 5. That was a win for Auburn. Alabama finished 8th, I believe. That was a win for Auburn, but Florida finished 6th. Georgia finished 4th in the country. So they had several teams. Auburn had a tough schedule. Minnesota finished 11th or 10th, I believe. So if you look at the teams up there in the top 15, Auburn played a lot of them. Now, they won 2 of them. They won the Oregon and the Alabama game, but then they just didn't play well against Florida, didn't play well offensively against LSU, and I don't know what I watched against Georgia. I mean, for 3 quarters, they at home against the Georgia team, to me, that wasn't near as good as they've had the previous 2 years, just down 21-0. Going into the 4th quarter and just looked like they never were in it. Made a run in the 4th to cut it to 1 score, but you never felt like they were going to win the game. So what your concern is what every Auburn fan is. It's what's around you. It's the Clemson and the Georgia and the Florida and the Alabama and
now the LSU.
And the LSU that you got to compete with year in, year out.
And I just don't.
They're all ahead of us right now.
I really don't. I have some confidence that we may get over the hump every once in a while, but I don't have any confidence that we're going to consistently be there.
Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
At Mortgage Pro, we won't be able to finance a new car or new boat. We can't open you a checking account. Mortgage Pro specializes in mortgage loans. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your current home, the only way to go is Mortgage Pro. We can close in 15 days or less. We can offer the best rates in the mortgage industry, and we can waive appraisal fees on any new loan from September 1st until December 31st. Call Mortgage Pro today.
Hey Realtors, do you know about LMG Ad Agency? We build your brand and help sell your properties or a unique lifestyle so you can focus on your clients. We focus on professional photos, videos, aerial photography and videography, and commercial real estate. We'd love to tell your story. Contact us today at 256-392-4250 or visit our website at lmgadagency.com.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
I am Lisa McClendon from Country Financial, and I have spent years in our community helping people protect their homes, cars, and lives. I am proud to be a member of the 2018 National Championship Team and a National Advisory Council member for Country Financial. Complete financial security does not end with just insurance. I am also here to help you plan for your financial future.
Together, we can help you set up a step-by-step plan to reach financial security.
Let's talk soon.
Lex Wedgeworth has been the most trusted pest control for generations, and now with EnviroCare, you can expect the same high standards for all your pest control needs. EnviroCare's exclusive Centricon termite colony elimination system provides the industry standard to protect your home or business. EnviroCare's Centricon system protects your home year-round. Call the professionals at EnviroCare throughout East Central Alabama for a free estimate. Nobody cares like EnviroCare, the next generation of full pest control for your home or business.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace. Smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz, brought to you by Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores and Mortgage Pro, the Eric McKinley team. Some comments coming in. Steven said, what do you guys think about the O-line coach? We'll talk about that hire. Tim Hudson, new pitching coach at Auburn. That's what Patrick put on here. I mean, can't get much better than that, I don't think. So just a lot going on right now in off-the-field stuff.
Well, just named today. I think that there had been a lot of buzz around that Tim Hudson was going to do that and going to be named that. But great to see, great for Auburn. Oh, my, to have a guy that you can go out there and use on the recruiting trail to say, bring him in, let him be coached up by one of the best that ever did it in the Southeastern Conference and in Major League Baseball. And Tim Hudson, that's an easy sell right there. And also grew up in this area, so a lot of people know him and respect him from that.
Here's a comment for you, Randy. Mark said, we all know how important 1 second has been for Auburn, but look how important it's been for LSU. And I remember this. I was at the game. I think you were at the game. I'm not sure. I can't remember. At LSU, when basically lose or leave town. Les Miles and Gus Malzahn. LSU snaps the ball and throws a pass, and end zone scores a touchdown, but they snapped it too late. The clock had run out. I mean, barely ran out. And Auburn won the game. And they fired Les Miles the next day on Sunday. Well, the word was on the street, if Auburn were to lose that game, Gus Malzahn would have been fired. How crazy that 1 second determined the future of both programs where they are right now. Just think about it. That was back in 2016. Now, in 2017, Auburn had a pretty good year. They made a run. They beat Georgia, Alabama, went to the SEC championship game. They had ridden Kerryon Johnson's wheels down to the nub.
To the Earl Campbell
To
State.
the Earl Campbell. They just ran them off, ran the rims, the rotors, and everything had just come off. And couldn't win the game, and then ended up laying the egg like we talked about in the Peach Bowl. But that really kind of changed, and everybody laughed at LSU, remember, for hiring Ed Orgeron. And so, and if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember everything, Troy went down there and beat LSU, didn't it? The next year.
I think you're right.
Under
yes.
Ed Orgeron. So, boy, it was, as Ryan gives a big fist bump to his alma mater, Troy went down to Baton Rouge and beat them, so it was really starting to look like, ooh, what did y'all just do? But look at where he is now. You know, he's been the brunt of everybody's jokes, including ours. But Ed Orgeron has done nothing but just stay persistent, go out and make changes where he's needed to make them, goes and gets a Joe Burrow from Ohio State that transfers in that just came in and really just rejuvenated the program. I mean, give him credit.
And give him credit for the hires that he's made with
right.
Brady and hanging in there with Ensminger. All of the other pieces that he has in place. It's very impressive, and it'll go down as one of the best teams in college football history. Did you think the 11 that they named during the halftime show were the best 11 football players in college football history?
I'm not going to cut any of those guys on that stage because I think all 11 of those guys up there were very deserving.
Well, there wasn't 11.
Well, nine of them were up there. You know, Red Grange obviously wasn't up there. And Bo decided to go sit in the woods somewhere, and somebody tweeted out and shoot a bow with his feet because shooting a bow with his hands is not challenging enough. But seriously, some big names up there, Roger Staubach, and obviously, do you think Jim Brown's the best college football player ever?
I don't, if you look at his stats, and I think he's the best. He could be easily the best pro running back ever.
So you don't think his stats?
Well, pull them up.
Yeah.
I think I saw a tweet last night that during Jim Brown's era, they played Alabama, and Alabama beat them 51-6.
So all right, let's get back to what you saying.
I mean, listen.
You brought up a point though that you do have to ask. I mean, the youngest guy that would have been on stage, he decided not to be there, is Bo Jackson. So basically, there was a cutoff from 85 on, and nobody. So you're telling me
just keep going down the list.
Nobody from 85 forward, there was not a single guy somewhere in there that warranted of a top player ever. So I don't guess those decades mattered.
They don't. They don't matter. And
well, who played in those?
Maybe Barry. Actually, Barry Sanders is younger than Bo Jackson. He's 88.
Okay, 88 then.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Since 88, who deserved to be on that stage? Tim Tebow.
Well, hold on a minute. And Alabama had, who would you put on there from Alabama's team? Derek Thomas? Is he a top 10 player all time?
I think I would say he is. Do y'all think that Derek Thomas is the best defensive player in college football history?
Well, SEC,
at least SEC history.
Well, if he's the top football defensive player in SEC history, then that should warrant a spot up there in the top 10.
I mean, either Reggie White.
You could name. Who else do we want to talk about? Well, who are some of the Heisman winners? Cam Newton, he only played 1 year. I get it. So he probably is not eligible. Tim Tebow.
I think he deserved to be there, yes.
And I know Joe Burrow's in the current, so it's hard to put him, and he only had, I mean, last year was very average for him. So let's kind of pump the brakes. He had this one particular year, he had just a tremendous year. But, I mean, there's got to be some guy, not to have one representative from the 90s or 2000s is just kind of mind-boggling because there's been some unbelievable football players that have played in these last 2 decades.
You know who we're going to look back on if he keeps doing what he's doing in the NFL right now and say that guy, and he won that Derrick Henry. What is that?
He's a cyborg droid. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, Ryan Tannehill ain't thrown for 80 yards in a game yet, and he don't have to. I mean, he literally will fall in the category with Brad Johnson at Tampa Bay.
Yep.
And
Trent
Dilfer at Baltimore. Yep. Like, when they get in the huddle with a coach goes, all right, all you got to do is take the snap. Okay, just don't do anything else. You take a snap and turn around. And just don't turn around the wrong way and hand it to this robot we got back here that we built in a lab somewhere. He just doesn't look human. And somebody that big that abuses players, I mean, he makes NFL players look like just little old toys.
And he runs away from guys.
I've never seen anything like it.
He's
He's got to be, if he stays healthy, one of the most unbelievable athletes ever to play the game.
I agree with you.
I mean, I'm saying, you can't
I
argue.
know he's in his prime right now, but that last year at Alabama, he was a man amongst boys.
He was. I mean, look at the little meme of him standing by Mark Ingram. And that thing, by the way, continues to get worse and worse. Now he's like 10 feet tall and Mark Ingram's like 1 foot tall. But, there's Mark Ingram over there in his little Letterman jacket going, like looking up at him like, what in the world is this guy? But he's huge. I mean, he's huge. He's fast. When Tennessee gets in a situation where they can run the football, it's hard to beat them. So up against another break here on the program. We come back. We'll talk some basketball. Auburn, Alabama on the floor tomorrow night. It's going to be a big one. Stay tuned. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
You already know the power and reliability of a Mahindra tractor. Get ready to meet their ATV and UTV lines. Haul more and tow more. Do more. Reaching speeds up to 60 miles an hour. Models have a 12-inch ground clearance and the ability to haul up to 1,200 pounds. There's a Mahindra utility vehicle and a model specifically to get the job done. Test drive today at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Serving Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and Talladega counties. 256-392-3613.
Be the hostess with the mostest this holiday season at Chicken Salad Chick with our easy party catering. Need a quick appetizer? Stop by Chicken Salad Chick and grab a quick chick of any chicken salad flavor or the pimento cheese ball covered with crushed pecans and crispy bacon. Remember, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. For a limited time, our pumpkin cheesecake is back and it's delicious. Chicken Salad Chick can feed any holiday crowd with our custom-fit catering. 12 flavors of chicken salad, there's sure to be something for every taste bud.
Tires are important, and when getting a great price on tires, you want to get it right. So make the short drive to Wright's Tire in Sylacauga. Wright's Tire can get you any make or model of tire, and they make the drive worth it with volume pricing. Whether North Tallapoosa, South Talladega, or Coosa County, make the right choice, the right selection, the right service, and the right price. All at Wright's Tire on Fort William Street in Sylacauga. Call for a free quote, 256-245-7778, and get the right price on tires.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Since the dawn of time, mankind has needed tools. But not all tools are created equal. AGF Machine Rental Sales and Service has tools for all commercial construction or big residential projects. AGF Machinery offers the most durable and hardworking brands of ASV, Skyjack, and Wacker Neusen. Aerial lifts, scissor lifts, loaders, excavators, and forest equipment on demand for the best possible price. And backed by the Southeast's best team of professionals. Visit any of our strategic locations across Alabama for all your equipment needs. Or online at agfmachinery.com.
Expect it or not, the loss of a loved one is difficult. Put your family first by planning ahead. This is Joseph Dean, new owner of Alabama Funeral Homes and Cremation Centers. We are a full-service funeral home with an on-site crematory and cemetery. Whether your need is immediate or you would like to plan in advance, our experienced, compassionate staff can assist you in designing an enduring memorial experience, burial, or cremation. Alabama Funeral Homes and Cremation Centers on Highway 280 in Camp Hill or online, alabamafuneralhomes.com.
Harbor Point Ship Store has everything to make your day on the lake more enjoyable. Come on out to the biggest marina on the water. They have pizza, hot dogs, burgers, and more. Get your gas, groceries, snacks, ice, and everything you need for a fun day on the lake. Are you in the market for a new or pre-owned boat? Harbor Point has the best selection around of everyone's favorite Crest pontoons and Four Winds boats. Harbor Point also has a great selection of pre-owned boats. Come on out and take a look at Harbor Point, Marina Point Road in Dayville. Get to the point.
Hi, I'm Kurt Bowman, General Manager of Vaden Toyota of Sylacauga.
And I'm Coco. Do you owe more on your vehicle than it's worth? Are you stuck with high interest rates? We may be able to help.
If you've made your last 12 consecutive payments on time and would like to get a new vehicle for the same or close to the same payment and save thousands of dollars in interest, you may qualify.
So come by and see us and let us show you the Vaden way.
Vaden Toyota of Sylacauga, located on Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Okay, we're fair and impartial on the show, so we went and looked up a couple of lists of the top 10 players in the 90s and the 2000 decade, 2000, 2009. And the only one you and I felt like possible, well, two, Tommy Frazier and Tim Tebow, probably maybe considered.
Which
to be
they
up
had
there.
Tommy Frazier, the #1 player of the 90s.
That's right.
That was the ranking, and then they had Tim Tebow, the #1 players of the 2000s to the 29. Yeah.
Yep.
How about since then?
Cam Newton and Derrick Henry would be 1 and 2 to me. I mean, am I missing somebody? Joe Burrow is going to be obviously in this next decade moving forward. So, I mean, he'll have a chance.
He'll be a part of this.
No, he
one.
will be part, but he only had, him and Cam Newton had 2 spectacular seasons. Derrick Henry had, 2 really good seasons at Alabama back to back?
He did.
Okay, so those guys would be in the top 3, shuffled up, however you want to do it. Who else are some that we would think would be in this past decade? I mean, you going to put Mark Ingram in that group?
I mean, of course he would be. I mean, any of your Heisman Trophy winners are going to be talked. There was one name on there that surprised me a little bit in that 2000 to 2009. That was Pat White.
Pat White, number 8.
Yeah, from Daphne High School, who ends up at West Virginia and puts on a show there.
Very good.
The number 8 overall player in that entire decade. Would you have thought that?
And that was and this is NFL.com putting this out. This isn't some shabby, off-the-wall, just let me stick a list together. I mean, that's who they considered the 8th best player in that decade. It's pretty impressive.
Do we put more value on older players than we do? Because when you go through and you go, yeah, I mean, Peyton Manning, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put him up there. And I'm sitting there thinking, I would be willing to bet his stats compared to Roger Staubach's aren't even comparable.
Well, it's not, and it's a different style of football.
Yeah.
And then Auburn had some outstanding players in the 60s that you would look at maybe putting in a list of guys. But they ran the football from the quarterback position a lot back in those days and didn't do a lot of throwing. So errors change. That's why I told you. You probably need to do it by generation or by maybe decade or whatever, because, Ty Cobb and those guys back in the day, it's hard to compare what they did in Babe Ruth to what these guys do now. I mean, those guys are swinging a tree. I mean, he picked that thing up and hit. And the pitchers, man. Now, look, I know there were some good pitchers, and I obviously wasn't alive back then to see it in real person, but you'd see some of the film and some of the wind-up and the short arm throw. I mean, they were probably slobbering at the mouth to knock the cover off that one. Everything's changed now. The way things are analyzed and the way pitchers go into and study film on batters, and batters study film on pitchers and tendencies and all. They didn't have all that stuff back then. So maybe that even gives them more credence to the numbers that they had back in the day. But it's hard to compare across generation. Let's move on to talk about some basketball. Auburn will travel to Alabama tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I mean, what can you say? This team's 15-0. They're number 4 in the country. They will be going into an absolute rabid environment with Alabama. This is a team, the 4 out of the last 5 games, they've scored over 90 points. They do give up a good bit, but they average scoring about 83, 84 points a game. Auburn only averages giving up 66 points a game. So, Randy, that's going to be the difference. Can Auburn defend them like they've been defending everybody to this point? Isaac Okoro tweeted out last night. He said, I feel like we're the best defensive team in the country. He didn't say we're the best team in the country. He just said that I feel like we're the best defensive team in the country.
And when you say that, and that's the culture you're building, where the top-ranked guy that you've gotten in a long, long time that's going to go be a one-and-done, first one to ever do it for Auburn, to be a one-and-done, and he comes out with a statement like, we're not the best team, but we are the best defensive team. Can you imagine how much goes into building a culture that really just embraces that type of mentality? And that's what Bruce Pearl's done. It's an alternate universe. I keep saying that. It's unbelievable what he's pulled off at little old Auburn University when it comes to basketball. By far the worst SEC program in the history of our conference, but we're not going to say that much longer. Not going to say it much longer at all. Here's my big – I'll start. My thoughts on the game tomorrow night. Could Alabama beat us at home? Of course. Are they a little bit more impressive than they were the previous years? Sure. But this Alabama team's 8-7. They're 1-2 in the conference. They have 0 post presence. Zip. Whatever your consideration of zilch is what they're going to throw at you at their 4-5. They can't score it. They defend it okay, but they got to get everything they do outside. And Auburn, at this point in time in the Bruce Pearl tenure, has to take advantage of that. Austin Wiley needs to get 16-10. D'Angelo Purifoy needs to keep doing what he's doing, getting into the paint and making explosive plays around the rim. I don't know when the last time I've said that, but we are just stronger than they are down in the post. Can they shoot their way to a win? Of course. This is not, but don't get caught up thinking this is some kind of tremendous Bama team. They're 8-7 for a reason.
Well, the only thing that concerns me, and of course being, somebody that is concerned with going on the road in this conference and watching this Auburn team to this point get off to slow start after slow start after slow start. They got off to a slow start against Vanderbilt. They got off to a slow start against Mississippi State. They got off to a slow start against Georgia. Now they've come back from it. But when you go on the road, and I know they beat Mississippi State, but Mississippi State's 0-3 now in the conference. You go up here with a team like Alabama that shoots the ball at a rapid pace and likes to run now like we used to like to run last year, and you got somebody that's shooting 49.5% from behind the three-point line, John Petty, and he's a catch-and-shoot kind of guy. He's not a half-court. I mean, they like transition threes like Auburn liked them last year with Harper and Brown. I just think you can ill afford to get down 18-6 up at Coleman Coliseum tomorrow night. And you're going to be fighting an uphill battle the rest of the night. You're going to have a crowd that's going to be into it. Now, I don't think Auburn's worried about the crowd that much. They've been in big environments, played in the Final Four and all that good stuff. But it's going to be a tough task here. We've got about 20 seconds in this segment, but it's going to be a tough task, even though Alabama is 8-7.
Well, how tough can we make it for them shooting the ball from the outside? Petty, who's still a slender 180-some-odd pounds at 6'7", does he like Okoro bodying him up? Does he like Flanagan, who we'll talk about coming back, bodying him up? Flanagan's become our third best defender on this team. Isn't that something?
He's been a good defender the whole time.
He has.
He struggled offensively. He made up for that Saturday. Up against our final break. Stay tuned. More Auburn Blitz right after this.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
The interstate is backed up this morning due to an accident.
So you don't like sitting still on the interstate? Get the free Algo traffic app. With Algo, you'll have the information you need to avoid problems on your route to work, to home, to the beach. Traffic backups, wrecks, lane closures, all with current info and live traffic camera feeds. Know before you go with Algo Traffic, ALGO Traffic from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Get it today and arrive on time.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
Lex Wedgeworth has been the most trusted pest control for generations, and now with EnviroCare, you can expect the same high standards for all your pest control needs. EnviroCare's exclusive Centricon termite colony elimination system provides the industry standard to protect your home or business. EnviroCare's Centricon system protects your home year-round. Call the professionals at EnviroCare throughout East Central Alabama for a free estimate. Nobody cares like EnviroCare, the next generation of full pest control for your home or business.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
Hey Realtors, do you know about LMG Ad Agency? We build your brand and help sell your properties or a unique lifestyle so you can focus on your clients. We focus on professional photos, videos, aerial photography and videography, and commercial real estate. We'd love to tell your story. Contact us today at 256-392-4250 or visit our website at lmgadagency.com.
Mortgage Pro is the new standard for mortgage loans. While other banks are taking 45 to 60 days to close a loan, Mortgage Pro is making it happen in less than 15 days. Your mortgage loan goes from start to finish in less than 15 days. Mortgage Pro is able to make this happen by having the most advanced technology and a highly trained staff with over 98 years combined experience. If you're looking to buy a home or refinance your current mortgage, call Mortgage Pro and let our team go to work for you.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment of the Auburn Blitz. Again, brought to you by Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores and Mortgage Pro there at McKinley team. Hey, appreciate the comments. We do have a new set for all of you out there watching on Facebook and on TV on Charter Channel 3. All over the state, not just necessarily Charter Channel 3. It's all over on WOTM and ACN, the Alabama Cable Network. I want to thank everybody for watching. Went back to our old...
Yeah. Go back to your roots sometimes, and it was one that we had for years and years, and like the old locker and changing things out back there. And this year we'll also welcome you in to give us some phone calls as we get going. Even on this program, as we get going, we'll be asking you for phone calls, and if you want to call in and take up a whole segment, we'll take it.
You know what jersey needs to be hanging up back here? What? And we don't have a basketball jersey yet. An Auburn basketball jersey.
Well, why wouldn't you have that?
Why in the world would we not have an Auburn basketball? We're going to fix that. That's going to be fixed very soon. But anyway, talking about Auburn basketball, on the road tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Tonight's slate of games, Ole Miss at Florida, LSU at A&M, and Missouri at Mississippi State. Nothing really exciting or sexy about any of those matchups. Missouri just blew the doors off of Florida. That was pretty impressive there. LSU at A&M. I think LSU will take care of business there. A&M not very good, and Ole Miss will go to Florida. So Auburn will go to Florida on Saturday. Andy's going to that game. So I told him if we win tomorrow night and they go down there and lose in Florida, it's his fault. So he's blamed many of Auburn losses on me before traveling. He blamed the Florida loss in football on me, so I'm going to blame the basketball on him. Maybe it won't happen that. But just tomorrow, again, you just kind of summed it up. If Auburn loses this game, it's probably going to be their fault. It's going to be because they didn't play good.
Well, you can spin this in Nate Oates' first year that it's a tough schedule and that Avery Johnson did him no favors and made it extremely tough to have to get through this schedule. But you're spinning it. This is an 8-7 team, a 1-2 team in conference that gave up a big lead at Florida. They do look better. They have no post presence. And I think Nate Oates is going to get this team there. I believe in him. I like what he's selling. And basketball is going to be great in this state once he gets it there. But it's not happening right now. The feel-good story for Alabama and the feel-good story for you and I that saw a ton of John Petty and broadcasted a ton of John Petty games in high school is that this guy's playing up to the talent level that we expected him when he came out from that Huntsville area and then ends up at the university.
Shoots better from behind the line, the three-point line he does inside.
But he's shooting well everywhere. He's got a 48.8% shooting percentage period, 49.5% from three-point land, almost 75% from the free throw strike. He's 6'5", 184. He's gotten a little bit bigger than when he came in, but still very slender. But 16.7 points per game.
He gets it done.
I didn't know that he would get to this, and that is a very much a feel-good story because I thought he was one of the best high school players I ever saw here in this state.
Yeah, he's tremendous. And, the last couple of years have been rough. Not played to his potential or what everybody thought he could be. Not the same this year. Just the last month, he's really exploded and has shown up every night no matter where he plays. And, the crack on him last couple of years is he played a lot better away from Coleman Coliseum than he did in Coleman Coliseum.
Here's the big point on this game tonight. Alabama's two post players. And
tomorrow.
Look, you can throw – tomorrow. Alex Reese, you can throw him in as a post out of Pelham. I would call Reese, even though he's 6'9", more of a 3. Likes to play out on the perimeter, can handle the basketball, but just not a physical presence down in the paint. I'm not trying to knock him. It's just the truth. They're two post guys, one averaging 7 points per game, the other they're averaging 3 points per game. 10 points per game down in the post. If Auburn can win points in the paint and double up Alabama there, then you can make up the difference of maybe a pretty good shooting night from Alabama. You lose, of course. Auburn's going to lose. 76 Indiana team's the last one to go through with a clean slate, and we haven't had one since.
Kentucky was close, but they lost in the semifinals to Wisconsin.
You got to expect the loss is coming at some point, but I don't know if it's here. I feel pretty good about it. If I were on that Auburn team, I'd be licking my chops to go over there because it'll be rabid. But we've got a much better basketball team at this point in time.
Tim said two things that don't last: dogs that chase cars and teams that miss free throws. Free throws going to bite Auburn at some point. Yeah, they've gotten a little bit better with free throw shooting, but still only 65% on the year, just nowhere near where it needs to be. On this day in 1973, to close it out, the Dolphins complete NFL's only perfect season, winning Super Bowl 7, 14-7 over the Redskins. One thing about that, you just said the Indiana team and then this Dolphins team, Kentucky was close. The New England Patriots were close.
Of course
went to the Super Bowl with an undefeated record, and Eli Manning got them once again. He's been the thorn in Tom Brady's side for a couple of times. But on this day in 1973, the only NFL team to complete a whole run and win the whole thing.
Now this LSU squad, after finishing 15-0, is now the fourth team in college football history to finish 15-0. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
It's a special one.
Very special one. Probably the best, if not the best, performance by a college football team ever. That's a lot. That's a lot to be said. Andy always does a happy birthday and a rest in peace. Andy Rooney, Faye Dunaway, Carl Weathers, all born on this day. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, were you a big fan of him?
I was a big fan of wrestling, period, during that
Born in 1954 there. LL Cool J, born in 1968. Jason Bateman, boy, he was an 80s guy, wasn't he? Born in 1969, just real popular in the 80s. Byron Leftwich, 1980. Remember where he played college football?
South Florida?
No,
Marshall, that's right.
Marshall, yeah. Mm-hmm. You were close. It was a green team.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Humphrey Bogart, 1957. Passed away the year Auburn won their first national championship. So Harold Abrams, You know who he is?
I don't know, buddy. Harold.
I don't know either. Said one of the actual track athletes portrayed in Chariots of Fire.
Okay.
Pretty interesting there. Shelley Winters died in 2006. And then Alan Rickman, Hans Gruber from Die Hard. Randy dug up some on these, man. So, but anyway, thanks, Mark. Appreciate the comments on the set. Yeah, we really like it, and we appreciate all of you out there giving us some comments. That's going to wrap it up here. Final minute of the show, Randy. Again, been a great show. A lot of comments coming in on Facebook. We'll have Sports Blitz Live with you tonight from 7 to 9. Andy and Caleb will be on to talk all types of stuff. I'm sure they'll talk a lot about the national
Three
championship.
big pieces of news. If you're an Auburn fan, Pat Nix named the head football coach at Phoenix City. Great gig for him, and congratulations to Phoenix City for landing him. Tim Hudson named the pitching coach for the Auburn baseball team. That's big for the Auburn baseball team and Auburn athletics in general. And then you've got Jack Bicknell named the offensive line coach. We'll try to jump into that a little bit more as we close out.
Absolutely. That's going to wrap it up for Randy Lee. I'm Brett Pritchard saying we enjoyed it. We hope you did. See you tomorrow.